hits, real classic rock, and Bill Welychka. 96.3 Big FM.
Bob Cage and the Tragically Hip, 96.3 Big FM. I'm Bill Welychka, and glad you are here, and I think you're going to be glad you're here too as well. Please join me in welcoming to the Big FM studio Mr. Paul Langlois, of course, from the Tragically Hip, and the Paul Langlois Band as well. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing well, thanks, on this beautiful sunny day.
Oh, it's downright miserable. I know. But we're going to brighten things up, I think, for a lot of people. Lots of stuff to talk about. A new book, the Doc series, which we're just around the corner from. It's going to be here before you know it. But the recent Ontario mini tour that you did with the Paul Langlois Band, very successful. I haven't seen the Paul Langlois Band that tight, having that much fun ever since its short incarnation of the Paul Langlois Band. Was there a sense of that on this tour?
Well, that's good to hear. I was hoping that any random person, let alone you, would notice that we were pretty happy up there, and pretty tight. I mean, that's kind of the goal a little bit, and it was the Hips goal too. Like, we wanted to be the tightest band around, and with the Paul Langlois Band, these guys are really into it and they're enthusiastic, and now we've been through enough as far as playing gigs, and we did a bunch of festivals last summer, but we rehearse regularly, whether there's a gig coming up or not. It's just fun. We do it out at Greg Ball's place, and we try and keep that up once every couple weeks. I mean, everyone works and stuff, so it's hard to get together, but we had a lot of fun, and Skydiggers were great. I've been friends with them for 25, 30 years, and so it was great playing with them, and it was a neat little run. Like, it was Belleville, Peterborough, Kingston, Ottawa, and the Kingston gig was fun at stages, and it was nice to have it was a pretty dancey crowd, and everyone seemed happy, so were we.
Did you look down and see people singing along with Paul Langlois solo stuff, including the new record, Guess What, or the latest record, singing along to the lyrics?
Like, a little bit. But, I mean, I'm not really focusing in too much on certain people. I had a little more time for that in the Hip, but when I'm singing and up front, I'm looking around, I'm noticing smiling faces, and that's about it. But, there seem to be a few people singing the odd song.
That's cool.
Yeah, I've never really had that before. And, I'm quite accepting. It's like, we're doing this for fun, and I want to make the records really good records, and so far I feel like I'm 3 for 3, and that's kind of enough for me, as long as we're having fun. Again, these guys are great guys. They're really good friends, and so to do it with them is it just makes it extra special and fun. They all have my back, kind of thing.
I remember Dave Grohl, with the Foo Fighters' first album, and then putting together a band to tour that first record, stepping out in front, essentially, from away from the drum kit, from behind Kurt, says it was a difficult transition for him to becoming a front man. You made it look easy. Was it as easy as it seems? Fronting a band.
Thanks for saying that. It was not easy. I wouldn't say it comes naturally. I'm trying to get to a point where it comes naturally, but no, it's much different. Like, I don't even know. I still don't know. Do I talk between songs a lot, or do I not talk, or and just am I trying to be funny, or am I serious? And anyway, there's all these kind of, let alone the singing itself, but I'm enjoying the singing. I'm luckily able to hit the notes and feel while I'm up there like I'm nailing the singing, and so that's happening. So that makes me tend to, I don't know if I'm smiling or not, but I think it tends to make me smile more and actually, really enjoy it a lot more. If I were struggling with the actual singing, that would be a problem. I'd probably stop.
What I think is cool, though, looking around at a Paul Langlois gig with the Paul Langlois band, is people are enjoying the band. They're not enjoying just the songs and each other. Like, they can tell that the band is having fun up there, and that is really important. Let's take a little bit of a listen right now to some of that show that happened at Stages a couple of weeks ago. A little bit of the Paul Langlois band from Stages here in Kingston a couple of weeks back on tour with the Skydiggers. And I noticed for the first, couple of solo tours you did behind the first couple of records, you didn't do any hip. Is it a comfort level now that, you know what, people know me for these songs? I'm going to let, I'm going to play one or two hip songs now.
Yeah, I would say, it's comfort level, but it's also Gord's gone. And I know he did, Gord Downey did certainly a lot of solo work and solo shows. And I did notice back then that he was playing the odd hip song, which is totally within the norm and totally allowed. When I did my first two records and my one tour was whenever it was, like 2010 or 11, it didn't even cross my mind to play a hip song. But then Gord died, which, is a total drag, is an understatement. But, I don't know. It feels like people would want me to do a couple of hip songs in a set, and just to keep the music alive. I mean, we all wrote together, so it's not like any of us were side men or side people. So when the Paul Langlois band does Escape Is at Hand or Grace 2, as we just heard, it feels normal. The band guys love it, and they really rise up and do it well. And I learn more about Gord and his singing with any hip song we do. I mean, I sang backups to him, but I didn't realize he sang quite so high. So Grace 2 is a little bit high. I've never tried to play that or sing that. I was busy singing backups and playing guitar, but yeah, and then just Escape Is at Hand, which I mentioned is an interesting song to sing. Gord just had funny, really unique, cool phrasing, and so it's a challenge for me, depending on the song. And but I enjoyed it. A little sprinkle of the hip, and people seem to like it because it's like keep the music alive. Why not? Why wouldn't you? I mean, that's why we in the hip are looking backwards, and finding stuff and releasing stuff. And we wouldn't be doing that. I'm telling you, we wouldn't be doing that if Gord were still here. We'd be touring and recording and writing.
Well, yeah, you don't want to look back too much. You're proud, of course, of the legacy, and it'll be there forever for generations to enjoy, generations to come. You'll be doing a lot of looking back later this year. The hip documentary that Mike Downey has helmed, and it's a doc series. There's going to be some things the band hasn't even seen, I think. And, of course, the brand new book, it was just announced. It'll be out in the fall. Genesis Publications.
Yes.
Genesis Publishing.
Yeah.
It's called This Is Our Life. There's two versions. One's this huge, mammoth collection. And it's about the hip in the hip's words, which is very important as well. So, yeah, there's going to be a lot of looking back for you this year. This book was important to the band to get it out.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised we did, because we had talked about it, And it just seemed like such a mammoth sort of undertaking. It was a couple of years ago even. And I just thought, well, maybe that's 10 years down the road. But I certainly credit Rob Baker, for taking the bull by the horns in this one and meeting with Genesis. And Genesis is a company out of London, and they've done all the coffee table books for all the bands, the Stones. And they're really good at it. And really organized. So that was key. And, it was, I like it. We don't have physical copies of the book yet, but we've had access to it online as it was going. And it's like, okay, by next Monday, everyone needs to, approve these 10 pages or whatever. And it's a lot of pages. I don't know, 150 plus, and a lot of detail. And so, it's really good, and it's all our own words too. It's just interviews, mostly interviews that Mike Downey did because we did for the documentary series. Right. We each did, I don't know, at least 15 hours of interviews, and so it's just kind of like Paul. And then I'll be talking about, so we're talking about road apples or whatever. Rob, he says that, and we don't agree all the time, because we were together when we were answering any type of question. So it goes through the whole beginning right through until now, and it's pretty interesting because it's mostly just the band, but sometimes our manager Jake or Billy Ray, who works for us, and various characters enter the picture, but everyone's just talking, so it kind of really moves along for me, and I like the format, and of course a lot of great pictures.
Well, I'm just thinking, I don't know if the band collects their own ticket stubs, say from the Manor from years ago here in Kingston or whatever, or band photos. If you do, I'm sure they're in a shoebox somewhere in the attic because there's tons of stuff. But to see it all in one presentation, is very cool. It's very cool. It's and odd for me, but really cool. Johnny Fay, our drummer, is very good at collecting things like that. Passes and tickets and it's all in
posters. Yeah, and there was a massive team that was actively for both the book and the doc series, massive team looking for this stuff, and there was pressure on all of us to find this stuff. So you're right, mine is in the cellar, not the attic, and I'd just be going through, and it's just like, you find something that's like, hey, I found this, and it's like we already have two of those, and so it was kind of a pretty difficult task, but everyone tried their best, and we managed to get a lot of stuff to go in there. If
you ever have a garage sale, can you let me know ahead of time so I can camp out the day before?
Yes, okay. I will give you the heads up.
I love that. And let's remind people too about the doc. Is it a companion piece to the documentary, or two separate things?
Well, they're two separate things, but you're right too. I mean, it's companion. It wasn't intentional actually, because the doc has been in the works a little longer, and then, it's a lot of work on Mike Downey's part, who's Gord's older brother, and his team, and then the book was coming up, and as the book started going, it was like, wow, we could have this book ready in the fall as well, and so the doc series comes out, I think, in September, the book in October. These are guesses, educated guesses on my part. Yeah. And, the doc is another thing altogether. It's 4 episodes, and it's a mind insert blank to watch it for me.
You've seen it? All the band has?
I haven't seen the final.
Okay.
sort of cuts, but we've certainly seen rough cuts, and it's difficult. It's more difficult than the book, to watch it. I mean, it's cute in the early days. We were all just so young and having tons of fun and everything. But then, like all dramatic endeavors on film, there's things have to go down at some point because that's what the reader or watcher wants, and then you rise up again, which we did for the last tour. But it's kind of difficult to watch some of it where it's kind of like everyone sees things differently, right? And it's complicated. It was a 5-way marriage, and there were certainly times where we weren't as tight as other times. So it's kind of a little bit. I mean, I think they've done a great job, and it's going to be great. I won't be like sitting around watching it. I doubt it.
Well, you'll probably be planning that garage sale. Hopefully, you'll get on that. Thank you so much. Always good to see you. I love you guys.
Thanks,
love the
pal.
families, and it's going to be a beautiful year for Tragically Hip fans. And right now, we'll leave you with some hip, and we thank Paul Langlois. And don't forget, tomorrow, RKY Camp Album Benefit Show at the Isabel Bader tomorrow.
It's almost sold out, I heard today.
Perfect.
So, yeah, very happy, and I love RKY Camp.
Okay, beautiful. Right now, the Tragically Hip 96.3 Big FM.